Welcome back. This is All Angles on eNCA. Let me take you back to Pietermaritzburg, where we find eNCA senior journalist Siphamandla Goge watching the proceedings there in the state versus Zuma matter. So finally, Mganam, the one time I'm not with you, you finally get some movement forward. Finally, we're hearing this Section 106(1)H application. But before we get into the essence and the early part of Advocate Mpofu's arguments, I think it's important to recap. Before getting into this main application around the removal of Billy Downer, the issue around Mr. Zuma's health and fitness to stand trial became quite a bit of a topic for contention this morning.
It was to be expected. There was no way proceedings were going to go ahead without that issue being ventilated here today. So the first order of business this morning was the issue of the former president's health. So we had the National Commissioner of Correctional Services, Arthur Fraser, and two senior officials from the department who are based in KwaZulu-Natal, the acting regional commissioner and the head of escort facility where the former president was incarcerated, basically being subpoenaed by the NPA to come here. The NPA and the state wanted them to table records of former President Jacob Zuma. Judge Pietermaritzburg earlier on said he was going to ensure that there is privacy. He was going to lock them away in his office. So, but the defense team led by Advocate Mpofu vehemently and vigorously opposed that application and said, listen, this is being smuggled in, this is being bulldozed, we are not going to accept it. This is the issue of privacy for a former head of state, and there was no indication from the state that they are going to go through this route. We are here for this application today, which is this special plea hearing where the former president wants the state lead prosecutor, Advocate Billy Downer, to recuse himself. So that first aspect in the morning is done and dusted now, and Judge Pietermaritzburg ended up saying, well, these three witnesses that the NPA had subpoenaed, they can go and the issue will be dealt with at a later stage. They will be asked to come back. So those medical records were not tabled, but we are joined by Ayanda Mngadi from Ayanda Shazi and Associates. Thank you very much for your time. Section 106, this title to prosecute and the recusal application. Finally, we are getting started today.
Yeah, finally, after a long wait. I think the defense team is breaking down the actual section bit by bit. They're breaking it down whether it's more administrative, the definition, is it more administrative, or the definition is dealing with the actual character of a person. So he's trying to establish to the courts as to why they're using that various section and how he's correlating it in relation to the character of the prosecutor, because his application in essence is for this prosecutor to actually be removed. So he has to now actually explain in detail as to why this specific prosecutor should be removed, and he's basing it on this particular section. And that's why he's breaking it down as to what is the correct interpretation of this particular section.
And it seems as if it's a very long application that he's bringing forward.
Yeah, the judge is actually trying to make him summarize, so to say, because he did say that I've got your heads of argument, you've given me all the details that you need to give, just get to the point because we don't want to be here the whole day. And they've also made an indication that they would like for the matter not to proceed tomorrow, but for everything to be finalized today. So after he's led his arguments into breaking down his actual arguments as to why he's saying that the prosecutor should be removed, then obviously the state will also say, in our view, this is how it should be interpreted and not how you are interpreting it. So it's basically about interpretation of the statute at the moment.
What do you make of that heated exchange earlier on between Judge Pietermaritzburg and Advocate Mpofu about the issue of the medical records of former President Jacob Zuma and the fact that Arthur Fraser and his officials were summoned here or subpoenaed here by the NPA, but that matter has been parked for now?
Yeah, it was a bit uncomfortable at some point, because at some point in time the defense team were using words that were unbecoming of a legal a person to a judge. But obviously he was Mpofu was just trying to get a point across that, you know what, we've never said anything about applying for postponement or that we would want any proceedings to continue without the president here. So, and the issue of his health has never been discussed. So why are you bringing in these documents? Because they are private. That's the issue over here.
Okay. And thank you very much for your time. Thulasizwe, I'm not sure if we have enough time. If we do, I'm going to ask that we take a walk. I've spotted Zuma here. Going to ask my colleague Jacob Zuma to come with me to see if we can get hold of Zuma and get some reaction on what has transpired. For now, he's busy on the phone here, but we'll definitely have to steal him. We are sorry to hijack you, sir, but your comment on what has transpired, the issue of you subpoenaing these 3 officials from the Department of Correctional Services, the judge has said, let's park that for now, we'll deal with it later on. The medical records that you wanted tabled are not going to be tabled today.
You must remember, Siphamandla, that for every accused person's absence in court, it must be lawful and justified. That's the issue we wanted ventilated, because he is not here in court when he's supposed to be here and must be excused lawfully by the court. Hence, those witnesses were subpoenaed. Hence, the medical records needed to be ventilated today and be processed and be placed before the judge.
How disappointed that it didn't go according to your way?
No, we're not disappointed at all, because it's been stood over to be dealt with at some other time. But for now, we're dealing with the special plea.
Thank you very much for time. Let's release you. Sorry to hijack you. You can continue with your phone call there. That is Zuma. Is the spokesperson of the NPA. If we can, let's see if we can take another walk and go back there, because we are waiting for the National Commissioner of Correctional Services, Arthur Fraser, to basically leave the court precinct here. Would like to get a word from him, especially since there are developments about his decision to place the former president on medical parole. We're expecting him to leave this court precinct any moment now. But for now, Thulasizwe, let's take it back to you in studio.
Right.
We'll have to go back to court and continue with the proceedings there.
Well, Siphamandla, you know, if he does come through and you've not taken your seat back inside the courtroom, we will definitely be watching your video feed and make sure that we take that live, because Arthur Fraser is someone that is intriguing, you know, because he's an enigma, doesn't talk much to the media. But before I let you go, it's a pity you've let go of Ayanda Mngadi as well as Zuma. I would have asked them to join me in wishing you a happy birthday, Siphamandla. I cannot sing, my brother, so you know, it must mean something that I'm going to
don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry.
I was going to launch into song, but yeah, if I had backup, maybe I would. Happy birthday and keep up the good work.
Let's deliver news for today. Let's forget about other stuff. Let's just deliver news, my brother.
All right, that's Siphamandla Goge wanting to get on with it there. It's his birthday today, and he's spending it watching the situation there at the High Court in Pietermaritzburg. The court case. Finally, we get to hear the arguments in that plea by former President Jacob Zuma. We'll take you back as soon as it resumes.